Hi guys, Simon Wood here, and welcome to this week's live Q&A bot clinic. As ever, I'm going to go through all of your questions and answer as much as I can, and I'm also going to have a look at a couple of your bots. We're going to do a live review. So what I'd like to do as well this week, guys, with regards to bots, is I am going to review them, but I'm going to try and get you guys engaged with it as well. So as I'm going through the bot, if you notice things that you think are positive, could be improved, perhaps should be avoided, then please do add your thoughts and your comments to the questions as well. I will be looking at the latest questions that come in as I'm going through a bot, but I thought it would be good. I don't know if fun's the right word, but it'd be a good process to go through just to see what you guys think as well, because ultimately I can sit here and review as many bots as we want, and I can talk you through what I feel about it. But when you walk away from here, are you implementing those ideas? Are you thinking about what we've discussed? So if I was to come to you and say, you review a bot for me, what would you be thinking as you going through that process? So I want to get a bit of a feel, guys, for what you're thinking as well. So I might, even as I'm going through, miss out a few things on purpose to see if you guys pick up on anything. If you don't, I will come back and point them out. So don't feel that I'm going to do a lax review on this, Steve. But I just want to get a feel for you guys. So yeah, if you're up for it, you know, give me your input as well. I'm always interested in what you guys are thinking. No worries, Anne. Hope to see you soon. So guys, let me first get everything up that we need. Sorry guys, I want to make sure my screen is organized, and of course everything turns up when you don't want it to. So having wanted to avoid this, I'm now in this situation. Right, good. Let me bring the thing over here, move the questions out the way. GoToWebinar just takes over your whole screen, and unfortunately it's always on top of everything, so you can't find what you want. Right, now you should be able to see my screen. Let me just see what GoToWebinar sees. Yep, that's not the bot we're doing first. This is the bot we're doing first. So I'm just going to reload this page, guys, just so we can see how it looks when the page loads. So, and like I say, I do want to have your feedback. So guys, I'm going to have the questions section up on my monitor over here, and I am going to be checking. So please do let me know any feedback, anything that you think. I just want to get a bit of a feel for what the site is doing here. Okay, fantastic. Right, so guys, I'm going to have a look at this bot then. So let's have a look. And as normal, I'm going to let I'm just going to go through a few blocks. So we've got some content there. And then I'm going to come back and sort of do some reviewing. Okay. Good. I'm glad this will be. John's engaging. John gone. Don't go, John. John is, yep, giving me some thoughts. That's good. Good to know. Right, I'm going to go through it now. So let's have a look. So hi there. Welcome to Sky High Tree Service. Are you looking for a tree care provider today? And we've got yes, no buttons. I've clicked yes. And then we come down, okay, what service do you need today? Tree removal, tree trimming, stump grinding, pest control for my trees. I chose tree trimming. And then we've got some content here. So I've given you all a good chance to have a look at the content so far. Does any of you have any comments on what we're seeing? Okay, so yeah, so the first comment that we've got is that somebody has said, personal choice for professional sites, I prefer a real avatar to a cartoon. Guys, there's not really a right or wrong way to do that. You can use an avatar picture of a person. That's absolutely fine. Don't then try and convince people that the bot is a human. That's the last thing you should ever do. A cartoon image like this is fine. Quite often websites have little mascots or whatever, and you could use that. It keeps consistency. So that is really how you want to represent the bot, or want things represented on your site. There's really no right or wrong way to do that. The first thing that I noticed, is that there's no overlay text. Now, as we know, let me just refresh the page again. I mean, obviously, you know, we do have this little notification icon, which we're all so used to, aren't we? When we open our phones, if there's a notification in WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or Twitter or Facebook, whatever it might be, you know, we notice those notifications. So we're used to seeing that kind of thing. It does draw our eye to it. But using overlay text can really help increase your click-through rate. And when I say click-through rate, I mean the click to open the bot. If you're using a widget bot here, the right overlay text, not only just having text there draw the eye down, but having the right text also entices the click. So yeah, that's the first thing that I would say all bots should try and do. And then the other thing you can do is you can have a second overlay text for when you close it, so you see different text the second time round. So just something to consider, guys. I really do recommend that. So now we move on to the first block. Let's see what everyone's saying. Yeah, Gary's agreeing. We know call to action to open the bot, i.e. overlay text. So yeah, well done, Gary. So as I go through the first block, there's nothing really wrong with this first block. Sorry, hi there. Welcome to Sky High Tree Service. Are you looking for a tree care provider today? Yes, no. I mean, we've discussed just offering a yes option here, and that's something that I really would recommend you do. Apart from anything else, I know we've had the click to open the bot, but the first click or the first interactions an end user has inside the bot should be as easy as possible. And if we had only a yes button here, then it's going to be as easy as possible, because are you looking for a tree care provider today? Well, I've come to a tree company. So I don't even have to think about that answer. Yes, it's just yes. I don't know why you're asking me. Yes, but it is yes. Now, they don't actually think, I don't know why you're asking me in their head. But the point is, we don't want to make them think. At the point where they're first getting into the bot chat, the bot conversation, we don't want them to think. We don't want to suddenly say to them, you know, what's 5 times 5 multiplied by 3 divided by 56 to the square root of 9 or whatever. We don't want to ask a question like that, because they're going to go, and get stuck. We want to make it as easy as possible. We want to make it the path of least resistance. If we want them to do some more complicated stuff later on, like enter their email address, then, you know, we want to make it easy here. So yeah, that's just a point of interest. Now, somebody down here did say the bot color should match the site's colors. So yeah, that's one thing. That's the first thing I noticed is, first of all, the buttons that I see on the site here. I don't know about if we scroll. I mean, these aren't buttons, but we're still using orange. Okay, these are green, but they go orange when we put our mouse over them. So I would say that this button here is orange. So that I would say that the button should be orange, so there's some consistency. What we want to try and do is make the bot as much a part of our site as possible. And so if you can imagine that, let's say we went to a web design company to design us a site with a bot on it, they're going to design the bot in such a way that it fits with your site. So we want to do the same. We don't want to make this look like, you know, this is something that we've chucked on after. We want it to be seamless. So the first thing I would do is make these buttons the same orange that we have here. And again, because you're using white text on here, I would use white text on here so it's all the same. But also, I would use the square design buttons rather than the rounded ones. And then it's just going to be more in keeping with the site. Okay. So that's the first thing I notice on design. But what I do like, in fact, before I move on, what I do like is we've got a small block here. We're not giving them too much information up front. We're just welcoming them. We're letting them know that they've come to the right place, and we're asking them a very, very basic, obvious question just to get that yes click. And then we're coming straight on to what service do you need today? And by the way, you know, there's nothing to say that actually we couldn't condense these two blocks into one. So you could say, hi there, welcome to Sky High Tree Service or services. I'm not quite sure which would be right. We provide, we're the leading tree care providers in whatever area. What service are you interested in? Or what service do you need today? So again, it's not going to be a difficult question for them to answer, because if they're looking for somebody to, like, I mean, as many people know who were on the call yesterday, I was having some of my carpets cleaned. Now, quite often carpet cleaners offer all sorts of different services. They do upholstery cleaning, they do hard floor cleaning, they do carpet cleaning, they do all these different things. So if I was to go onto his site knowing that I want a carpet cleaner, and somebody says to me, what service do you want today? Carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, hard floor cleaning, and whatever else. It's not a difficult question for me to answer, because I've got carpets that I want clean. So I don't have to go, oh, that's a good question. What did I come here for? So you could condense that. So to avoid having that extra step, it just means that we get people to the point we want to get them to quicker. And I'm a big one for not extending the length of a bot if we don't need to. You know, I think people, the reason that people are interested in going into a bot, the same for live chat, is that they believe by going into the bot, they can find the information they want, or they can get access to what they want quicker than if they were just to navigate themselves around the website. So yeah, I always feel that bots are more effective if they do the job as quickly as possible. A lot of people feel that you have to write lots of content and be really wordy and go into some kind of mass detail, otherwise what's the point? But actually, you know, in many cases, you know, to get the best results, it's sort of in and out as quickly as you can. Obviously, in some situations, it might need to be longer. If you're doing some kind of selling, then you might need some longer processes. But generally, you know, a bot doesn't really need to do that. So that's just something as a matter of interest. No worries, Steve. You know, do take plenty of notes. There's always going to be a recording of this as well. That should be up in the members area either over the weekend or early part of next week. So here, I don't know whether there's a slight problem with the bot, but if you notice, first of all, they're saying I want tree trimming, and you're giving some confidence by saying, okay, are certified. That's the important part. You're saying we're certified. You know, we're qualified in what we're talking about. We know exactly what we're talking about when it comes to trimming trees. But then you say, can I have your first name? Now, I've got two problems with this, maybe even three. One, it's an open question. So the way that is being said, like if you were to say to me, can I have your name? I can say, no, I'm answering your question. You're saying, can I have your name? Yes or no? So the way that you should write that is, please enter your name below. You're telling someone to do something. Now, it's not like you're actually being bossy and telling them, but if you have an open question that, can I have your first name? You're not actually asking for someone's name. You are in a roundabout kind of way, but it's so open that somebody could say yes or no to that. And we don't really want that. Psychologically, by telling them to do something, it's not that we're being bossy, and we're not doing it in a bossy way, but we're just giving them direction. So you're going to find more people put their name in if you say, please enter your name below. Please enter your first name below. Okay. But one of the things I've got a problem with is that we ask them for their name and then we give them more information. So first of all, we're asking them an open-ended question, and then we're going to go on and talk about something before that they've had a chance to really compute about the name thing. So then they're going to get to here, and they might almost feel a little bit confused. So for this, I would probably do it in a different way. And when I click tree trimming, I'd say, you know, I think this might even be the best first message. A well-trimmed tree is healthier for the tree and safer for the homeowner. We'll remove deadwood, trim overextended branches, and prune back branches too close to power lines or your home. So that is basically, you know, telling people about the tree trimming service. And then as the third message, I would say, and are certified, blah, 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 blah. You know, we'll do a job. You know, we've got all the gear to, you know, make sure we do a proper job. So you're giving them confidence. And then in this case, then the last thing I would say is, can I have your name? But I would do it, I would almost maybe in this situation do it as a bit of almost a little bit of a jokey way. So you've got these two messages first, then this one. Then you can say something like, how rude, I've just realized I don't even know who I'm talking to. Please enter your first name below. So you're not doing it in a way where you're sort of saying, give me your name. You're sort of saying, we're having a conversation. I've been rude. I actually don't know who it is I'm talking to. Enter your name below. And then after they've entered their name, you can use a placeholder and say, thanks, David. You know, I'd always like to know who I'm talking to, and then you can sort of carry on. So it kind of adds, it almost adds a human touch. It adds a bit of realness, a bit of humor, a bit of character, a bit of something that's not just like a form. We don't want to be too militant. We don't want to be but like a form is, all, you know, lining up straight. So just little things like that, in my experience and in my opinion, can help increase, you know, people inputting information. So let me just come and see if there's anything else in here. I'm going to delete the points that I've already made that I am going, that we've talked about. Now, Joseph does make a good point. He does say, because I'll do it as we've just been talking about the name, he does say, I think more value should be given before asking for the name. So, I mean, I guess ultimately, there's so many different ways, and so we talk about this all the time, as the regular people here will know. There are some situations where I think it's worth doing it as early as possible. And the examples I always give for that is recruitment and real estate, because ultimately, if you're collecting data on people through a recruitment bot or a real estate bot, you want to know lots of stuff. You know, where do they want to live, number of bedrooms, what's their price range, what amenities do they need? Do they need to live near travel? Do they want a garden? Do they want off-road parking? There's so many things. Want a swimming pool? There's so many things that you're increasing your chances of people not completing it purely because it's longer, and therefore the phone might ring, the postman might turn up at the door, they might get distracted by an email, something might come on the TV. There's so many things that could distract them. So in that situation, collecting a name and phone number as early as possible and then getting all the data off people means that if they don't complete the bot, you can always ring them up and have that discussion. And it's the same for recruitment and other things like that, where you want to know what salary do you want, what job is it, what's your experience, have you got a CV, if you get name and number early on, you can always ring them up and have that chat. So there are situations where doing the name early is beneficial. If you're looking to get something from somebody, i.e. you're doing a lead generation bot, and you're basically, the whole idea of the bot is to get a name and an email address, so you can add it to your email list and market to these people, then you want to give before you get, because that's just the way that you're going to have a better thing. And normally what we do by that is we say, do you want this free gift? Somebody goes, oh yeah, I'd love that free gift. Fine, I'll send it to you on email. Please enter the email you'd like me to send it to below, and I'll send it to you right now. So we're giving before we take. So they're two completely different ways of using or deciding when you collect name. In something like this, where, you know, I mean, if somebody's looking for a tree surgeon or somebody to come and help with their trees, they're sort of inquiring. And I know this, having gone through this again with my carpet cleaning, that I went on a number of different sites. None of them had bots. But if I landed on a site like this that had a bot, then, you know, so long as they're telling me how they're going to help me before they ask for my name, I think I'm okay with it. And the other thing is, name isn't as personal as asking for someone's phone number or someone's email address. You know what I mean? The fact that I'm called Simon, I mean, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? You can't ring me up just because you know my name. You can't email just because you know my name. So having some kind of conversation first, I think, can be important in many cases. But I think we've kind of done that here. We're asking them what they want. You know, we're giving a little bit of information about our tree trimming service, and then, like I say, if we do it with a bit of humour and we don't just say, "What's your name?" Then I think that can be a good way to do things, because then obviously the benefit is that we can then personalise the chat from there on in. If we do add other little bits of humour, we can refer to them by their name. And anybody who's done sales, they'll always say to you, they're taught in all their sales training, you have more control on the conversation if you do refer people to their name. Now, of course, we're not trying to control people here, but it's just I guess a psychological thing. And depending on how you're using a bot, it could be quite important to personalize it for them. So now I'm going to do a few more minutes on this because I appreciate Steve probably saying that we haven't got very far. How long is this bot out of interest, Steve? I mean, I'm probably going to get there in a minute, but I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Anyway, so now he said, Simon, just in case, can I also have your best phone number? I mean, again, I can say no. It's an open question. I do like the fact that you've got this. Obviously, I'm a dog person. I like the fact that you've got a sort of amusing GIF. Even the way he sort of looks towards the camera there, you know, works quite well. I quite like that. But what you could do here is, I mean, I would acknowledge the fact that they've given you their name first. So again, if you were to add human and say, look, oh, I've realised I don't know who I'm talking to. How rude of me. He's put Simon. Thanks, Simon. You know, a little bit of humour. The other thing, you know, just in case we need to, just in case we get disconnected or whatever, do enter your phone number below. Please enter your phone number below. Give them a reason why you need their phone number. That's the other thing. It's all very well and good just sort of asking for information, but let's tell them why we want it. If we say, you know, for example, quite often when I'm on the phone to, let's say, the bank, or what really horrible phone calls have I had to make recently? It could be a credit card company, all these kind of people. There's nothing more annoying than you've waited 20 minutes, you've queued up 20 minutes or half an hour to get them on the phone. You've been on the phone with someone for 10, 15 minutes trying to talk through your problem. And then for some reason you just get disconnected. And it's like, can I be bothered to ring them up again? So what I noticed some companies do as a point of offering good customer service, when I first ring up, they'll say, can I check that the number we've got on file is the right one to call you on in case we get disconnected? Now, probably what they're doing is making sure from a sales point of view that they've got the correct details. I haven't changed my number and they haven't got the right one, because obviously from a marketing point of view they want to know my number, but they're doing it in such a way that taps into my brain and saying, oh, can I just check we've got the right number, because if we do get disconnected I want to give you a call straight back. That says to me, fantastic, I want you to have my number, I want to make sure that's the right number, because there's nothing worse than spending half an hour on the phone and getting disconnected and having to start all the way over from the beginning again. So if we give people a reason why we're asking for something, you'll find that more people are willing to give it to you. If you just say, load the product, what's your name, what's your phone number, what's your email? I've said to you guys before, you know, sometimes you've got to think of these things like you're meeting someone for the first time at a party. You'd never be introduced to someone and say, oh, hi, what's your name, what's your phone number, what's your email? People think, whoa, man, stalker, you know. But once you get to know someone, once you have a bit of back and forth, you can say, oh, that's interesting, yeah, we should catch up. Do you want to take my phone number, or should I take your phone number? You know, so I just think there's a logical way that we can think about doing these things. And so yeah, maybe just think a little bit more about the content around when you're asking for information. Give them the reason why, add a bit of humor, and you'll find that it just works so much better. We can save money today. We have different things. Now this, just some feedback on this. I'm gonna sort of speed up on my feedback now, because I can see that you guys have sent some good suggestions in. I'm not going to go through all of them. That was partly for me. I've read a couple of them out and we sort of shared some of them. But I want to know where you guys are. I want to see exactly what you guys are consuming and what you guys think, because ultimately, you know, it's going to benefit you for your bots. So this section here, I would do this across different message lines. So you can see how each message line is in this little bubble background. Well, that should be its own bubble, that line there. So should that, so should that, and so should that. I think it would be very easy to read. In fact, these two might be okay in one message, but I just find that that's a little bit harder to read. So here, so one other thing that I notice here is, if we think of this as a conversation, so thanks Simon, give me my phone number, thanks Simon, we can save you money today. We have a discount for our visitors today, $200 off any tree service over $1,000, or $50 off any stump grinding. I can email our discount coupon to you right now. Fantastic. fantastic, but you've not actually asked my email. So I would slightly rejig this, and again add that little bit of character. Thanks, Simon. Oh, and by the way, we've got some deals running at the moment that can save you money if you order today. We have a couple of discounts. The first is $200 off any tree service over $1,000, or if you're looking for our stump grinding, we offer $50 off every order. If you're interested, please enter your email address below right now. This is a limited offer, completely different. You're letting people know, you're hyping it a little bit, you're kind of making it exciting, but also you're actually telling them to enter the email address below to in order to get that. So that would be my thoughts on that. Steve, are you still making notes? But anyway, I'm going to put any old email in. Sometimes as well, just as a point of note, it's not really a major thing. It's good to say thanks when they enter stuff, and if you've got their name, it's obviously great to call them by their name. What I like to do, because otherwise you can find that the first message in every block is just thanks, Simon, and after a while that can get repetitive. So I like to mix that up, and like, you know, I might every now and again say thanks again, Simon, or, you know, just something just to make it slightly different, because as people, we're not always going to repeat the same thing over and over again. There's always going to be an element of variation. And I mean, here, I can see exactly what you're doing here, letting people know that we don't share your email with anybody, and it's only for use to communicate with you. Well, why don't we tell them that before we take their email? Because what we're doing here is we're giving them this information to let them know that there's no worry, your email's not going to be used in any wrong way. If they've already given you their email, they probably haven't been concerned about that. So the people that you should really be saying that to are the people who haven't given you their email, because they got to that point and thought, oh no, he just wants my email. Oh no, I'm out of here. But if we were to say, you know, up head, and before we collect their email address, you know, don't worry, we don't share your email with anybody. This is just for you so that we can communicate with you and let you know any updates regarding your whatever. And then we have got a booking thing here. Now, the other thing is that I'm going to finish up after this, Steve. So I'm going to hope you are taking notes. For this, I haven't actually confirmed that I want to book anything yet. So I've confirmed that I'm interested in your tree trimming service, but I want to find out about it before I book. So, so what we're saying here is please book a time below that's convenient for you so I can take a look at the job. So basically what I'm saying is I want to come out, have a look at the job, and I can give you an estimate, a quote, whatever. But really we want to know that they want us to do that first. So I would probably actually in this case, if I come all the way back up here, after they've confirmed that it's tree trimming, then I would probably put some content in. You know, you've got this great content here about trimming stuff down, and then I would say, you know, in order to give you, you know, an accurate quote, I would need to come and visit the property. Is that something you'd like me to arrange? The minute they say yes to that, getting their details off them is very, very easy. So you can kind of, I know we've discussed all of this stuff and that all of that still applies, but I think your job's made much easier here if you know that they want to come out and do a booking. And for example, let me show you an example. So they say they want tree trimming. We let them know about our tree trimming thing. We say that here, and then we go on to say, look, to give you an accurate quote, I need to come out and have a site visit and have a look at the job. Is that something you'd like to do? Yes, no. If they click yes, then getting the information off them is going to be a doddle, because they now want you to come out. So they're going to give you their name, they're going to give you their phone number, they're going to give you their home address, they're going to give you their email address without any problems, because you're telling them what you're going to do for them. If they say no, then they could come into a funnel, like a chat funnel like this, where we've got to do a bit more qualifying. By saying no to you going out and booking a consultation or an on-site visit with them, they're not actually saying no. what they're saying is, I just haven't got enough information to make that decision yet. I haven't qualified you. I don't know if I want you to come to my property yet. I don't know if you're the right kind of tree surgeon or whatever that I want to come here yet. And I know that, again, I've been through it with my carpets recently. You know, I first of all, I even taken a website. If you've got a rubbish website, I'm like, nah. Then I might speak to them on the phone or whatever, and if there's a bot, I'd communicate with that. But you try and get a feel for the kind of company. Is it the kind of company I want coming around and working on my house? So I would do that. I would try and book the appointment early on. Once they confirm what they're interested in, do this qualifying, and then say, look, house visit, yes, no. If they say yes, go down the easy flow of collecting data off them. If they say no, then you need to provide a little bit more about your service. You need to provide a little bit more about, you know, if you've got customer testimonials, stick them in there, because you need to work harder to these people that you are the right company for them. Okay, so it's not like everybody that lands on the site and goes through the bot is the same kind of person. We're all different. Some people like, he's offering to come around and do a site visit free of charge. Fantastic. Yes, let me give you everything. Other people are like, I don't know, I need to know more about this. No. And so you need to do a little bit more to prove yourself as a company to them that you can come around and really help them with their needs. So I'm going to call that for this bot, because we are now 20 to 5. Like I mentioned earlier, guys, I'm happy to run over if we've got stuff to talk about. We did start late for the reasons that I gave, so don't worry about that. I know some of you might have to leave, but I want to just quickly check on the questions here. In fact, let me stop sharing my screen very quickly, guys, so I can just have a look at this stuff. It doesn't mean you have to look at me, but oh, so Steve, just very quickly. I mean, Steve, are you still here? Just to clarify, Steve, sorry, let me just turn the thing on again. Your no funnel is here. If they say yes to this, and then they click on a particular service, I either say, do you want me to come do a site visit straight away? And the easy people you'll get in. If they say no to that, they want more information about your service. So it's whether or not you need these yes nos up here. But if they say yes, then my yes no would come in after that one, just to clear that up. Now, what I do want to do very quickly, because Steve has asked me a question here, and he does have to leave. So I just want to go through the process of showing you, if you wanted to, because we were talking yesterday on just to give you a bit of background on this, we were talking yesterday on agency call about somebody had a bot that they'd made for their website, and they wanted to use the same bot on Facebook. And you know, I explained that while our builders are all the same, we've worked hard to make sure that it's easy for you to use each of the platforms. The actual stuff behind it and what's used to actually go on the platforms is completely different. And actually, if we were to design a builder for each one, we'd probably do it different each time, but we wanted to make it easy for you. But that does mean that what works on a website bot is not going to work on Facebook, is not going to work on WhatsApp. So to give you an example, I've just got to go to the right place. It'd help if I could actually spell. So so let's just say we had a martial arts bot. Here it is, martial arts bot. So if you wanted to have this on Facebook as well, then you would this is the only way to do it. You'd build a new Facebook bot. And you would just have to start from scratch. And this is, I mean, who was it? There's another guy called Steve, wasn't it, who came on not that long ago and said, you know, I built my own bot and it didn't take me very long at all. It was much quicker than I thought it was going to be. Well, basically, you know, unfortunately, this is kind of it. Now, I never really recommend that you copy paste content into the builders, but what I find is going from builder to builder is generally fine. So yeah, this would, unfortunately, it does seem it's a bit long-winded, but this is the only way you're going to be able to do it without starting completely from scratch. So yeah, Steve, it's just a copy and paste exercise. I'm not going to carry on. You get the point, and then you're going to connect them to wherever they need to be connected. So yeah, just for Steve there, because I know he does have to dash. That is how you would that is how you would do it. Now, unfortunately, there's not a shortcut, Steve. I wish there was myself. I've had to go through the process a few times myself, and of course, we at one point had to convert over 100 templates from website to WhatsApp. Sorry, Facebook. WhatsApp again, you'd work the same way, but WhatsApp, anybody who uses WhatsApp will know it's set up differently. It doesn't use buttons and all that kind of stuff, so you have to think about it slightly differently. Okay. Let me just have a little look and see if there's anything in here. Background orange and buttons green. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. I just want to do this one from Gary. He says, first time I disagree with you. The name thing sounds like you're pretending to be a human. Yeah, I mean, listen, all these things are subject to personal preference in many ways. I don't think it is pretending to be human. I think you can do plenty of things. For example, if you were to call your bot something bot, then it's obviously not a human. It's all about how you position it. I never ever recommend trying to be human. I will stress that an awful lot. I think if you try and pretend you're a human, then it's just not going to work. But you know, adding humor doesn't mean it's human. For example, I've got bots, for example, they don't take the mick out of humans, but they do things like if I ask a question, you know, it will say things. I mean, I can't think of an exact way of saying it, but it'll almost sort of suggest, I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. I'm a bot. I don't need to take long to think about it. I can do 70 million things at one time. You know, so I'd put little jokes in like that. So it's got character, it's got human, but it's definitely not pretending to be a human. So that is maybe there's some cases where it's a fine balance, but I feel that in my bots, I never have anybody in doubt whether they're engaging with a human or not. So yeah, if you are putting humor into it, great point Gary mentions. Make sure you know the rest of your bot. If your bot's called Hannah and the bot icon is a real picture of a person, and you know, you load the bot up and they say, hi, I'm Hannah, nice to meet you, and then you start adding humor, you're probably trying to convince everyone it's a human, and that would be a definite no-no. But if it's obvious it's not, then adding humor and character makes the conversation more engaging, it makes it more fun. If you can get the end user to smile as they're going through it, then do you think your chances have gone up of getting that complete, or do you think they've gone down? I think they've gone up. Right, so I'm going to come to the next bot as well. I can't believe that we're nearly 10 to the hour, and yeah, we've only reviewed one bot. So there's somebody else asked a question here. Jesus says, I'm having trouble with the bots on mobile. The bot picture covers the send button and makes it difficult to press send. Would you be able to show me that? Jesus, could you show me, can you send me an example of the actual bot? So I can see what you mean by the bot picture. Once the bot is opened, you shouldn't see the picture anymore. So if you can still see a picture, I'd also like you to check that you haven't accidentally added the bot code twice. Sometimes what happens, it's extremely common for this to happen. I don't know how, but people seem to do it quite often, is that without realizing they'll copy the code in twice. And that can do things like, sometimes people are able to open a widget bot, but there's no X to close it. And that's because it's been installed twice. It may be another thing is if you install it twice, that sometimes you see the bot icon. So yeah, if you could let me know where I can see the bot, and also if you could just check on your site to see if you have installed the code twice. Obviously, if you send me the link, I can have a look and see that. Right, I've got to fly through some of these now. Using names builds rapport. Yeah, Tim, absolutely. So once you do collect, that's an important point to make. Once you do collect someone's name, at whatever point in the bot you're collecting it, make sure you use it, because like Tim says, it does build rapport. So Roland asked, if I set up a discount for today, don't I have to be careful if I keep the discount for a whole week? So let me just make sure I understand what you're saying there, Roland. So let's say the bot is offering a discount code, but you want it to be limited. So the bot is going to say this code is for today only. Then you want to make sure that the code can't be used at the end of the week as well. So this would, well, two things with this. One is when you create discount codes for your shopping cart, you can normally, one of the things when you're creating it is you can tell the shopping cart how long that code is valid for. It could be valid for 12 hours or 24 hours or 1 week or 1 month. So when you're creating that code, if there is a time limit, i.e. this is only available for the next 24 hours, then so long as you mention that in the bot and it's clear, this is time limited, guys, use this today, this time tomorrow this code will no longer work, then it will no longer work because that's the way you've set it up. Also, you might need to update the bot. You know, that's one thing that you always need to consider, guys. If the bot is doing something, if you changed other things that the bot points to, make sure you update the bot as well. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense. And the bot might be talking about older versions of stuff, and you talk about that, and then you send someone through to it, and it's like, well, this isn't what he was just talking about. So there's lots of reasons where you might need to consider that. But yeah, just make sure that the discount you're setting up does exist for the same time as what you're saying it's going to, then that should be fine. If I've not understood that for any reason, Roland, then please do let me know. Good. John has got a question here completely unrelated to the bot that we've just been looking at. eBay have finally added a bot to their site to help sellers. Getting help was a torture beforehand. Yeah, do you know what, John? In fact, I would say 100% my sort of working for myself started long before I started working for myself. Didn't realize at the time, but I used to sell on eBay. I used to sell a hell of a lot on eBay, and I loved it. I can't even look at it now. It just confuses the hell out of me. I find it so unuser friendly, and I was very good at using it. I was generating some good revenue on eBay. Yeah, so I can believe that it was torture beforehand. So presumably, John, they're just using it for a customer service thing, so only sellers can see it. They're not letting sellers yet put bots on their pages, because that's what I'm interested in. The minute we can develop a bot for eBay, or even if the website bots will work and they just allow you to insert the website code, so you can actually have a bot appear somewhere on your own seller's page or your own seller listings, or whatever. But it's good to know they're moving that direction. Right, let me have a look here. Got a question. Why not get into intro stuff, send to discount funnel to get names and numbers and say goodbye? Is this too long? Sorry, Brian, I'm not quite sure I understand. Why not get intro stuff, send to discount funnel to get names and numbers and say goodbye? I'm interested by that, Brian. Might you be able to resend it, but with a bit more detail? Because I'm not quite sure if I'm following you. So Steve, whose bot we were looking at a moment ago, guys, has just said, this is my first bot. Thank you and other members for your feedback. This is really helpful in capital letters. Lots to rework, but I'm excited. Yeah, listen, Steve, in many ways, guys, and Steve especially, when I put a bot live, that's never going to be the final version of that bot. On our agency calls, many people have heard me talk about optimizing bots to make sure that by the end of the free trial period, if you're doing that, or even if there's not a free trial period, at the end of the first month that a bot is live on a site, that you've optimized it and made sure that the performance at the end of the period is better than it was at the beginning. And part of that is constantly making changes, and it's not big changes. It's not like rewriting the whole thing. But what I talk about is and many people have heard me talk about, I send all my data to a Google Sheet so I can see exactly what people have put in each block. Each user, you can see what they've put in at every stage. And if you get to a point of block 5, everybody's filled out information, then block 6, there's no information. It means that people aren't getting onto block 6, or they're getting onto block 6, but they don't like it and they're not living their information. So I know at what points in the bot I'm having problems and people are finding the content, or I'm asking for something too soon or whatever. So I would then just go in and tweak that block and try and get people onto the next one and so on and so forth until everybody is getting through to the end block. So part of moving your bot live is to really, the end user who's using the bot is going to tell you and dictate whether your bot is working. And if it's not working for whatever reason, i.e. people aren't moving on from a certain block or something's going wrong, then you just have to look at that and think, okay, well, I'll change that, I'll tweak that. And the aim is not to worry about the whole big thing. I do it on a very small micromanaging. It's literally, oh, look, I had 10 people go through my bot, 8 of them made it onto that page, but only 2 made it onto the following page, or following block, sorry. So that means that, you know, 8 out of 10 got this far into the bot, and only 2 out of 10 went the next step. So 6 out of 10 people didn't go further. Therefore, there's definitely a problem with that block. Go in there, what is it? I was too aggressive. I shouldn't have asked for an email so soon. I should have done a little bit more hand holding before I did this, that, and the other. So I'll just tweak things. It'll just take me 3 or 4 minutes each time. I'm not rewriting the whole thing, but yeah. So yeah, lots to rework. I think, Steve, you know, in some cases, anything is an ongoing. If you look at sales pages that companies use, they're always tweaking it to see what they can improve, even if it's just changing the color. Yeah, so Anne says, you suggest Grammarly last week, and I came across copy.ai for AI assist copy, and it looks promising. Writes appealing sales copy. Yeah, there's a few like that. There's rephrase.ai, is that another one? So there are a few that can do helping with writing content. Okay, thanks, Steve. I'm glad that he says I've missed a couple of logical steps in the conversation, but get it now that you've explained it. No worries, Steve. That's why we're here. That's why we do these sessions. So I'm hoping. By the way, guys, I'm just something that's popped into my head. Obviously, I'm keen to do bot reviews. I'm keen to look at as many bots as we can. Is there any value in for you guys if we if we go through a bot like we have done here, and let's say Steve goes off and makes some changes? Is there any value that anyone would have with having a look at Steve's changed bot, his updated bot, or with any bots? Is that something that people? If not, I'll review new bots every time. But thanks, Paul, who has said that thanks again for a wonderful review of the bot. You're doing a super job. Thanks, Paul. I think he's had to go off. Right, okay, I want to do another bot review now. I can see there's lots of stuff going on, but people are saying, are there any more bots to review? So I want to come and have a look here. This is Anne, how many websites do you and your husband own between you? But this is a bot that Anne's put together. So what Anne's doing here is something slightly different to most bots that we've looked at in the past. So this is obviously an auto repair website, and we're normally used to seeing a little widget bot down here or something. Well, Anne is doing things in a slightly different way. What she wants to do is use a bot to help schedule. So you can see we've got click to schedule, click to schedule. If I scroll down, we've got, there's something on the right here, wasn't there? Request your appointment. And then there's this button didn't do anything for me, Anne, just to make you aware. I'm just wondering whether click to schedule is the right wording. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Anyway, when you click on it, it takes you through to a full page bot, and who aims to get us help as quickly as possible. And as ever, I'm just going to let the bot go for a little while, and you know, we can come back and have a little look through it. Audi. Okay. I just want to see what happens here. I'm sure this is a classic one. Juddery. Juddering. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Juddering. I'm sure a lot of mechanics love that when people say, oh yeah, it's juddery. It's just sort of a bit juddery. I don't know why I find that amusing, but it's just the kind of thing that I'd imagine mechanics just hate. It's like, that doesn't help, does it? Right, so let's go through the bot. Welcome, I'm your repair bot. Let's get you help as quickly as possible. Very appropriate GIF. Now, guys, the other thing that I do want to mention, because we're gonna come across the name thing again. And guys, again, if you wanna give suggestions, then you can't see the screen. Sorry, guys. That is why I'm gonna have to start with this again now, aren't I? That is why I should always check. That's why I always ask. So now, guys, can you see my screen? I'm gonna have to edit that out of the video now. Try and minimize my time. Right, so you now can see my screen. Perfect. So now you're going to understand what I was just talking about a moment ago, guys. So, by the way, and this is the button. I've told you enough times now. You know what I'm talking about. You'd be like, shut up and get on with it. Anyway, you can see that what Anne isn't doing is using a widget bot. So she's using a bot in a different way. So we can see we've got these buttons here that say click to schedule. So what she's doing, if someone wants to schedule an appointment, they're going to click on this button, and it's going to load the bot. Now I can talk about what I was going to talk about. Again, I'm just going to let the bot load for a bit so we can just sort of go through it. And then I'll just get back to where I was. You'll know what I'm talking about in a minute. Juddery. So I'm going to put that. I'm going to get to the same point in the bot because I knew what I was doing then. So it's juddery. Okay, so I'm going to let this message start, and then I am going to go back to the top. So, yeah, so I'm going to start again as I just did. So we've got welcome, we've got I'm your repair bot. So again, we've made it very clear that we're a bot. Let's get you help as quickly as possible. Very appropriate GIF. All that. It's nice to meet you. I will need a little bit of information to help you set up an appointment. What is your name? So the first thing to mention, actually, the first thing, again, I'm just gonna mention this. I don't like seeing different sentences on the same message line. I would have that as two different messages. I think, yeah, it's just my preference. I don't know if it's my preference. I just think it's much easier to read. So I would say that. So now we're asking for a name here. Now we've talked a little bit about name already. And as people know, there are situations where you can ask for a name early. Generally, I say you've got to give before you take. In this situation, what we have to remember is that they've clicked a button saying schedule call or schedule appointment or whatever it was. So this isn't like they're loading a widget bot on a site and we're trying to get them to make an appointment. They've pressed on a button that says, I want to make an appointment. And when you say, I want to make an appointment, if you ring up a restaurant to reserve a table, or you ring up your local garage to book your car in, they're going to ask you for your name, they're going to ask you for your number, they're going to ask you for your car, all that kind of stuff. So I have no problem with the name being asked here, because the fact that they've pressed the button on the site qualifies them already. They're here to schedule an appointment. Therefore, they're going to be happy to give me their details. Otherwise, they wouldn't have wanted to schedule an appointment. So I want to make that clear, because I know I always get, but you just said we shouldn't do name there. No. Always depends on the situation. And in this situation, we've already qualified them. Okay. Again, while what is your name? That's probably all right. I do like to tell people to enter. I just think there's a psychological thing there. But what I do like, let me just come back to this, is that again, so far, we're not offering long passages of text. It's really important when we're communicating with people in chat content, we don't use long-winded sentences, we don't use long-winded words, we don't try and write proper, we don't try and do the Queen's English or whatever. It doesn't need to be like that. We're having a conversation. We need to be chatty, we need to be concise, we need to structure sentences in a way that they're easy to read. That is the most important thing. Sometimes, like if you're doing research, let's say you're looking into, we've had this whole thing that the whole world has, this pandemic, and people, I don't want to get political here, but people in all countries are making a decision about, do I have a vaccine or don't I, right? So it's down to us all to do our own due diligence. Now, sometimes when you're reading things that are scientific, and I don't know if it's just me, I'm sure it's not just me, but you read things and some of the terminology they use, you know, can be, I don't want to say longer words, shorter words, but you know what I mean? They're words that we're not used to reading every day. Now, the amount of times that I've been reading articles or reading stories about this pandemic, and I have to reread things. I get to point my finger, let me just read that again. Just read that again just to make sure I've taken it in and understood it. That's not what we're looking for with these bots. We don't want anybody to have to read anything again. And like I've mentioned before, we do it all the time. Whatever we're reading, we skim, we don't read. If we're researching something, we'll take time to read a bit more. And half the time we're reading it again is because we are skimming. We're not really taking all the information in. We don't realize we're doing that, but we are. So with bots, with sales pages, with generally selling content, you don't want people to have to keep rereading. They're going to skim. So you want to make it as easy as possible. How easy is that to read? You know, that's why I don't like this so much, because I just think that you're making it slightly harder to read. But if you look, I've told them my name. He's not giving me some essay on what I want next. What is the make, model, and year of your vehicle? I'd actually split that up. I'd probably say, what's the make of your vehicle? Put that in. What's the model of your vehicle? Put that in. What's the year of your vehicle? Because like me, if you ask for too many things in one go, you're not going to get it all. So I just read make and model. I didn't even read year because I'm skimming. So I put Audi S3 make model. I didn't put year. So already they've missed some information there. So I would break that up. Maybe you could have what's the make and model of your car or your vehicle. Sorry, we don't say that so much here, but and then after that you can say, now thanks for that, what's the year of your vehicle? And then, you know, again, we've got a very appropriate GIF here. We're breaking it up with a GIF. So if I just scroll up and down, none of that looks too much hard work, does it? There's very simple, concise sentences broken up by interaction points. So I'm involved in the conversation. It's definitely two-way. And also we're breaking it up with colorful GIFs, move. I prefer GIFs to images generally because they're more engaging on the eye. And then, you know, I've put my thing in that it's juddery. Well, let's get you taken care of. The good thing is that the bot can't roll its eyes at me. I mean, I might, in fact, with the Google Dialogue and natural language processing, you could actually, you know, if the word juddery or juddering is mentioned, you could actually get the bot to roll its eyes. Talk about humor. Maybe not something that I'd recommend, but those little things are possible. Now, I do have a bit of a problem with this message line, much like this one. It's kind of the same thing, but there's no space in between. So they're two separate sentences, but also this one's slightly indented, so that there's a space there that doesn't need to be there. So again, I would do this the other way around. I'd say thanks for the info. In fact, I would say thanks for the info, Simon. And then now let's look at getting you taken care of. And then, yeah, we can come in here. Do you need a free loaner car? Yes, I do. I do not walk. Again, I'll just have that over two message lines. It's a small thing, but I just think it makes it very easier to read. Very easy to read. So hold on a minute. You're not very easier to listen to, mate, if you come out with sentences like that. But okay, great. Just okay, great. Okay, great, Simon. Okay, great. I will let Kerry, our office manager, know. Sometimes if you to have things like this, I know this does make sense. Okay, great. I will let Kerry, our office manager, know. But again, if I come to skimming, it's just not quite as easy to sort of skim through. Yeah, so I hope that helps. In case you are reaching after hours, what is a good number to reach you on? It's not gonna be long enough, is it? I mean, and just by the way, guys, because I mean, I think what we also have to appreciate is that we have regional ways of saying things. So what you guys in the US might say might be different to what us guys in the UK say, which is probably different to what a lot of people in, you know, Australia or New Zealand or South America or South Africa or whoever, Holland, wherever, would say. So you know, that's sometimes things to consider as well. Like for me, in case you're reaching after hours, what is a good number to reach you on? I mean, if I just take that first sentence, I mean, in the UK, reaching is being sick. In case you're reaching after hours. So yeah, that was just a bit weird for me to read initially. I get what you mean by reaching out. But yeah, so the only reason I say that is in this case it really would not matter, because obviously if you're looking for an auto repairman, then you're going to be in that region. You're not going to be sat in the UK looking for an auto repair guy in the US. But obviously, if you do have a website, or you've got traffic into a bot that deals with lots of different countries, you want to make sure that terminology you use is very general. I know that can be hard to know. And there's probably loads of things I say that people think, what the hell is this guy talking about? But sometimes when I'm putting bots together, if I know that I'm going to get a lot of, you know, for example, there's one thing doing a bot for just English speakers. And then there's another thing doing a bot where you know that some people landing on that page, while they're going to understand English, otherwise they wouldn't be landing on that page, they don't have, it's not their natural language, and therefore they're not going to understand certain quirks that English speakers would. Therefore, you have to dumb it down. And I don't mean dumb it down as a piss take, just in case that is a regional thing. We say dumb it down in just so you just need to simplify it, so that you are allowing everybody who lands on your bot an equal chance to understand the content. Obviously, if I know that I've got a bot that is literally only going to be UK people landing on it, then you know, the jokes that I might build into it, and the jokes aren't a massive thing, guys. I don't think that. It's just a good example in this case. But the humour I might build into it can be very UK specific. You know, I could say things that would make me laugh, that are relevant to what's going on in the UK at a certain time, but people who aren't in this country wouldn't have a clue what I was talking about. So you do need to sort of consider these things. And like I say, this isn't wrong. I just thought of this as I was reading it, because I read that if you're being sick after work, that's how I read that. So yeah, good. 5:10. Let me just see what's going on in the questions, just so in case there's anything that I'm talking about that people could see. Yeah, so I mean, it's one thing I do want to in fact, let's just Anne says knock me up in Ireland means a wake-up call, but in the US it means getting someone pregnant. Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, yeah, knock me up could also be, you know, fight me, hit me. But I know what you mean. Yeah, so knock me up, that can be taken in many different ways. Yeah, I'd understand that for sure. So yeah, again, nothing critical about that particular sentence, and certainly I just think that, yeah, it just made me think about that, and how I have had to in the past reword lots of bots that I've got, purely because I think I was being too English in them, which obviously if 80% of your traffic is coming from the US, then don't try and be too English, because it's just not going to work. So I've made that mistake. But let's see what other things people are saying about that. Now, one thing Joseph says, I'd prefer to see more color in the text or backgrounds. Now, that's one thing that I would certainly agree on. Obviously, we've got a bot icon in here. We've got some GIFs, which always help. But I think, in fact, let me just go back. I know it doesn't matter too much. I think, try and get some more. Again, I'd make the buttons this color, and I'd make them squared rather than round. Now I've got to go backwards and forth because I was stupid and didn't do what I wanted to do. But anyway, or just get more design. With a full page bot, we can always put a big image as the background. So even if you had like you know, some just car park related stuff, there will always be a white bit here to make sure your text stands out. So you're never going to have something that's too busy where someone can't read your text. So that's the only, perhaps the other thing I would say about the design of this. It could make it that when we land on it, it's slightly more colorful and easier to look at. But I think in general, the bot itself is definitely a good attempt. I'd be interested to see what kind of results any of you guys get from your bots that you send in. No worries, Lynn. See you later. That one's for the replay. Neville, let's have a look. Wouldn't it be better to say, hi, Simon, what is your make, model, and year of your vehicle? EQ, your name is added as we have it. So, yeah, what Neville is saying there, I think we did touch on it. I think Neville had already made his point by that stage. But I think what Neville was saying is we've collected their name. Should we not use that more when we're asking for certain things? When we're asking for the make, model, and year of their car, would it not be better to say, so Simon, or yes, if you could now give me the make, model, and year of your car, Simon, or as I was saying, what's the make and model of your car, Simon? Okay, thanks. And what year was that, Simon? You know, just to personalize it. We add more. I think we can get more stuff if we use the name as often as possible. So yeah, thanks for that, Neville. Yeah, I can't remember what that was now. Gary says, why ask about after hours when the user doesn't know your hours? So, I mean, that could be a good question. I can't actually remember what was happening there. But you've never heard one of them cars before. So again, we could use Simon here. We could add more Simons in here. I mean, I think that there is a point. Obviously, we need in this case we need name, because we need to put a name on the booking. But really, what we need more than first name is surname on booking. So if we're gonna stipulate that we need their full name for the booking, then that's fine. If we're just going to click their first name, then I would use it as much as you can, without obviously going over the top. Now, what were we just saying about after hours? Yeah, let's have a look at that. When were we asking about that? Have we already done that? I'm just going to go through this and see if I can get somewhere. In case you're reaching after hours, what is a good number to reach you on? Yeah, I mean, it could be a good point, but I guess, I mean, I guess the point Gary's making here is that, let's say it was 1 p.m. So 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I've just had lunch. If I come on here and it says, in case you're reaching after hours, what is a good number to reach you on? Oh, well, I know it's not after hours. I don't need to enter my mobile number because it's 1 o'clock. They must be working. I don't need to put my number in. I don't need to put my number in. So perhaps we could reword that. I mean, I don't actually know whether we're going to go next. So I don't know whether we're going to. Oh, I found you. Oh, Google search. So yeah. So the way I would deal with that phone call thing here is I would say, because they have come on here to schedule an appointment with us as per the button they clicked on, but at no point in here we actually asking them when they want to come. So what I would do is I would change this. If we're not going to give them a date picker to choose a date and time, we may not want them to do that, because we don't want loads of cars just turning up when they want to turn up. What I would do here, instead of saying, if in case we're reaching out of hours, I would say, okay, thanks, I've got the information we need. I'll pass it over to our team in the office, and someone will give you a call back to arrange a convenient time with yourself to bring the car in. Please enter your best phone number below. And then that way, you're telling them exactly why you want the you're telling them exactly why you want the phone number, and it's a completely reasonable thing. That's going to complete the booking. So there's going to be a more chance they can get in touch with you. So yeah, I wouldn't if a bot's going to not be turned on after hours. It'd be different is if you had, let's say you had live chat or nothing there between the hours of 9 and 5 or 6 or whatever, when the office is open, and the bot's only on after hours, then you could sort of use that in some way. But I would confirm that we need to ring you to confirm booking. So please, please enter that below. So I am going to leave that at that. Tim asked, do the grey bot dialog boxes get lost on the white page? That's these little bubbles here. I mean, I get the point of what you're saying. I mean, I think the colours of those can change in the design depending on what you're doing. What I would say is that, I mean, for me, I like them being quite subtle like that, because really they're just grouping each different message line together. So I don't need it to be massively obvious. Also, almost the grey box and the text on it just is enough to let me know they're all individual lines. I think having if it was just white and there were no bubbles there at all, I think it would be quite hard to read. So having just that little bit of grey on the white within the darker text just helps it make it easier to read and skim through. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you can change that. It might be something that you could test. But generally as well, guys, now we've actually got to the end of this bot, I just want to show you that this is what I mean where bots don't have to be long. They just need to do the job. I'm looking to schedule an appointment to bring my car in, just get the information. There's nothing that's too long in terms of, I'm not talking at them for too long in terms of the bot, not me. And it gets done. The only thing that might be missing here, like I say, is whether they can choose when they want to come in. If you had a calendar, let's say it was connected to a Google Calendar, and therefore the only dates that they could be shown are available slots, then perhaps you can do that, because then people really know the process from beginning to end. And you can still after that ask for a phone number. If we need to contact you for any reason, certainly when we got your car, then please enter your phone number below so that we can do that. But yeah, in general, it's certainly a good go. Yeah, so I think that's been a couple of good bot reviews. We've obviously gone 20 minutes over. I know we started 10 minutes late, so we've really only gone 10 minutes over. But so let me just see what questions or suggestions or comments we've got. Steve says, great session, have to go. See you next week. See you, Steve. No worries, Anne. Thank you for sending your bot in. Roland says that's a lot of good input. Thanks, Roland. John says there are websites that give guidance on visual issues on websites. Yeah, I mean, and there's lots of different things. And actually, I mean, I will just say this, and how the smallest things can make a massive difference in terms of how sites can perform just based on little visual things. I've done a lot of sales pages over my time online since around 2008, and we went through a process where we used to split test like mad. So we would have a number of different versions of our sales. I mean, sometimes we were testing like 30 to 40 different variations on the page, and it can be obviously we're testing different headlines. What headline grabs attention more? But one thing that really got me from all that split testing we did, you could have exactly the same page with exactly the same content, same headline, same video position, same everything, but one on a light blue background converts better than any of the others. I mean, unless I saw the stats, I wouldn't quite understand that. But these things can make a difference. Obviously, I'd understand that if someone said, yeah, it was a red website, then that's basically saying, stop, no, warning. Red, it would be a bad color to use. But against a white one or a blue one or a green one or whatever, the sales pages we were doing consistently over every single one we did, the light blue one outperformed anything else. So yeah, John, you're right that there's going to be websites out there that do show you on the vision issues in websites, making sure the right things stand out. Quite often I see weird things. The button that everybody wants to click to take action is the hardest button to see. Everything else is big and like flashing and doing all this around it, but there's this tiny little button in the middle of the screen that says click here. And it's like, well, that's your thing you want everyone to do. Dumb this down and make that jump up and down. So yeah, we do need to consider these things. Paul Vassi, hi Paul, where can I get a replay of this webinar? So in fact, let me share my screen and show you. It's going to be the easiest thing to do. So you can see my screen. I've checked now. You can definitely see it. I've had a look at GoToWebinar. Let me get rid of this and let me go to the dashboard so you can see this sidebar. We've basically got 3 training sections here: basic, advanced, and bonus training. In bonus training, all of our live sessions are found in here. We have the live bot clinics, which is this session here. We have our agency stuff in here, and we have our affiliate stuff in here. So just go to bonus training, Paul, and you will find all of the previous recordings. Javier, then you can follow that same thing that I've just shown. They're all in there. John says goes to change website colors and schemes. One thing I will say, John, is, remember, I was split testing sales pages. So these are the sort of long sales pages thing. It wasn't actually like an e-commerce site or a site doing something. I mean, you know, I would always recommend basically having white backgrounds on a normal site. This was a particular sales page in a funnel. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say go and change all of your websites to light blue. I'm just giving you feedback on how much a small detail can have an impact on conversions. Gary says the wall behind me keeps changing color. Yeah, do you know why, guys? It's because, I mean, in the UK now, it's getting dark earlier, and my office here, my studio, I have a window with 3 panes to just in front of me to my left, but my room is quite big and it gets extremely dark. I'm in the loft here, so you can see the wall bends up, the roof, I suppose it is. See, I've got a it gets very dark here basically, and it would be really quite dark. You just see me here and then nothing behind me. So I thought I'd put my LED bulb on that's just changing color. I just thought that'd be a bit more interesting. Mark is Mark says, Simon, great session, must be whiffling along. Where are you from, Mark? I've never had a whiffling before. Really great fizz wizards. I mean that sounds like you've just come out of a lesson at Hogwarts, Mark. Fizz wizards and whiffling. So I've just got one here from Jesus who says, hi Simon, I've had trouble on mobile mode. The bot icon covers the send button. When I move to the left, it covers the text area. Is there a way to hide it completely? There's a way to make the icon smaller, but once the bot is open, you shouldn't see the icon. Would you be able to please send me, Jesus, your website that it's on, or the link that it's on, and I will have a look at that for you. But please do, if you could email it to me, please, because I haven't got your email address. If you were to send it to me on here, then I'm not going to know how to contact you. I want to have a look at this for you. I want to test it on mobile. I want to have a look and see if there's any problems with the installation process. So please email me, Jesus, and I will look at that for you. No problems, Paul. No problems, Javier. And Mark says, yes, I did actually. Mark's literally just come out of a Hogwarts lesson. Good effort, Mark. Could you want to do some swapping? Do you want to teach me some magic and I'll teach you bots? How does that sound for a deal? Anyway, guys, that is it. I've got to the end of play there. We are well over now, actually. So, yeah, guys, listen, thanks to everybody who's turned up. Am I still talking to people here or am I talking to myself? Yeah, plenty here. Thanks for everybody who's coming. Thanks for sending your bots in. Thanks for sending your questions. Thanks for giving me your feedback on bots. I quite enjoyed that. I know I didn't read everything out, but I do like to see what everybody's saying. If somebody brings up a point that I hadn't thought of, I'm going to prioritize that. If a lot of people are saying the same things, so I don't want to sort of go through the same things over and over again. But yeah, guys, thank you very much. And like I said, the recordings for this will be up, but hopefully over the weekend. Hold on one moment. I've got one question here before we go. The button colors is on the design tab, and I can't remember. Oh, let me just quickly log in and have a look for you. Let me just go back to a bot. Typical. I've come out of that one. Let me share my screen and so you can see it. Screen. You can see my screen. Yeah. Yep. Can you see my screen? Yeah. So design in here. Bot message. That's the content. I just play around with these and I forget myself as well. So there you go. It's this one here. User message, background color. It does change all these points, so it just keeps that. So you know, it just means the field highlights red. I've used red, but I mean your site's blue, and it's about that, isn't it? From memory. If you know the exact code, then you can just put that in there. So one thing I do, I mean, I'll just go through this with you guys. I just want to go back to this site. Is I'll actually find out that color, so you can like look for color picker. Oh, this looks like one I might have used before. And then what you can do in this one, sometimes they give you a little picker where you can hover over something, but if you wanted to know the color of that, you can save it as an image, screenshot it like I've just done, and then you can upload, use your image. You can upload an image. you know, and then it will load that image, and then you can like this, you can find the colors there. So if I wanted that blue, it's giving me that color there, and I can just copy that, come into the builder, and then paste it in there, and I'm going to get that exact blue. And then you're matching the color on your website 100%. But that's where you can do it anyway. And then the other thing just to make sure is if you change your color, just make sure the text stands out. So if this ends up being quite a light color, I'm not saying you use white. It looks awful, I know, but if your colors don't match, you can't read anything on it. So then you'd need this to be dark. So yeah, just so that you can do all that, guys. But anyway, that was just to help Anne before we're going. So guys, yeah, thank you very much for coming. Keep going, keep pushing forward. For those of you that are joining me on the affiliate Q&A tomorrow, I look forward to seeing you then. Otherwise, I hope to see you guys next week. So yeah, do take care, guys. Any questions, do send me an email.